Alright, I'm back again. I've caught up and finally got all the hardware painted up. I bought some extra hardware to mount all my Transformers. So we'll start mounting the Transformers as best we can. First of all, we will mount the smaller Transformer, which is basically this one. It will be mounted something like that. So we'll get these. And put them in there. Got to be careful to not chip all the finish. I put them in loosely to start out with so that they can be adjusted once everything gets on, and we may need to move them to refit them. As you'll notice, as I get going along here, I painted all the tops of the screws and I painted all the washers so it all looks nice and matches up. Now, tightening those down, I might end up breaking some of the paint off. That's okay. What we'll do if that happens is we'll spray a little paint out of the can and paint it back up so that I can touch up any spots that don't look quite right. We want this to look nice. That's the whole goal of what we're doing here. Okay. We need some more nuts. Sure that this is what I want. I want a fairly decent sized one to hold everything together. Be careful how I put this together so I don't scratch everything up. These are very handy if you can go get them. They're available at most places that sell tools. They're nut drivers, but it sure makes it a lot easier to put these things together with a nut driver than it does to use a little wrench on them. There we go, that mounts that. Next, we put the wires through the grommet so that it can get down to where it needs to be. This will be part of the power supply. There we go. Now I can tighten up some of the nuts here. Oops, I forgot to put a washer in there. Okay, I have to fix that. There we go. Beautiful. All right, next we'll mount the output transformer. We'll need to trim off some of these pieces that I had on here that were extra for my testing. I don't need these fittings. Most of these transformers are built so that you can have different output impedances or make them switch so that you can do 4, 8, 16, or you can just use a couple of them and just do one output impedance. Both work, but they want the transformers to be as versatile as possible. It also depends on how you hook the impedance of what you hook the input side up to, which wires have what input impedance on the output. So be very careful of that, and make sure that you read the data sheet, because the data sheets will inform you of how that works. Get on there. I want to be careful here not to scratch things up. I don't think I painted up enough screws and nuts. I thought I counted correctly, but I was wrong. I'll have to make up some more. I'll be all right for what I need to do today. I'll just have to paint a few more and put them in a little later. There we go. There's that transformer. These can go through this hole. And all these need to end up going through that hole. I think I can get them all in there. There we go. Beautiful. We'll put some pieces in and attach these wires so they don't hang out later. I have some pieces that fit like this that have stick on to hold them down and put it together. So we'll put those on a little later. Now comes the toughest part of all. Mounting this transformer is a little bit harder. What we're going to basically do is hook them up like this. And it's going to go through here. There's going to be another washer here. It's going to go through the chassis. There's going to be a washer here at the bottom. Then through the chassis, another washer, and then we'll put this in, and all four legs are going to be mounted in these four holes. And the wires are going to go through here. This process will probably take longer than I want to film. So I'll do this off to the side, and I will come back when it's done and show you the results. I do want to talk about one thing. Many people don't know some of the neat, unique features their tools have. When I got these screws, they were about 1/4 inch longer than what I needed. Rather than go out and buy new screws, I used this. Most people never notice these little holes right here. These are actually screw cutters. It tells you the size. You can put this in. This is a 632 screw. You screw it in. You run it in far enough as you need to cut off. And you'll notice that will go, and there's a blade right here that will cut the screw to the length you want, or cut off whatever you need. Most people don't know that feature is on here. And now these are already cut, so I don't need to do that. The other thing these do is, if you look, it tells you 1024, 632, 440, and the same here. And what it does, instead of having one of if you don't have one of these tools so that you can measure what bolt you need and know what to buy, like normally I would go in here and say, oh, that's a number 6 if it's in the number 6 hole. A lot of people don't have these. I happen to have worked for a company where one of our vendors gave us those, but this will work just as well. That way you can size the screw as you need to know. So that way, if you know you need to buy nuts, you need nuts for a 632 thread, etc. So, all right, I'll be back when I have everything mounted up.